Greetings, all gallant sailors on YouTube, welcome back to Abyssal Recap. Today, we will continue our journey with Ben Gates to witness the sequel of National Treasure, called Book of Secrets. Spoilers alert. Buckle up and take care. 5 days after the end of the Civil War, two mysterious men approached Thomas Gates to decode a message from a diary. Thomas recognized the message as a Playfair cipher, and translated it while the two departed to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. Thomas solved the puzzle, realizing they were trying to help the Confederacy. He ripped the cipher's pages from the diary to burn them. One assassin shot Thomas and fled with the one remaining page fragment. The dying Thomas told his son the keyword for the cipher was the debt that all men pay. More than 140 years later, famed treasure hunter Ben Gates tells Thomas' story at Civilian Heroes Conference. However, a black market dealer, Mitch Wilkinson, suddenly came out and said that Ben's ancestors were actually the mastermind of the assassination of the president. The so-called treasure map was just a lie. Burning the diary was also to cover up evidence. He took out the remaining page fragment, on which the list of killers was recorded. After an on-site correlation by the museum staff, it was found that the paper in Mitch's hands was indeed from the diary. The Gates family honor was totally disdained. To prove that his ancestor was only decrypting the treasure map, Ben embarked on the treasure hunt again. He needed Abigail to help him scan for more traces on the page. But they were on the edge of breaking up. So Ben asked his old pal Riley to help him hack through the security of his former mansion. At this moment, Abigail came back with his new boyfriend Connor. Ben deliberately bumped in, left Connor in embarrassment. After negotiation, Abigail finally agreed to help him. With the spectral imaging, they finally found the hidden Playfair cipher. Now what they need was merely the keyword. Ben asked his father about the family story. Patrick soon informed him about the message, the debt that all men pay. Ben subsequently figured out that the answer would be death. Through further decryption, Ben analyzed that the clue was on the smaller Statue of Liberty in Paris. There, Riley observed the statue from every angle with a drone, and found the clue. It was a reference to the Resolute desks. One in Buckingham Palace in London, and the other in the Oval Office of White House in Washington. They headed to London right away, but at the same time, Patrick was attacked by Mitch's men who replaced his phone, so that Mitch could eavesdrop on Ben's plan. Later, Ben and Riley arrived at Buckingham Palace and acted separately. Riley hid in the bathroom to hack into the security. Ben pretended to be drunk trying to be taken to the security room. But at this moment, Abigail showed up. It turned out that Patrick had told her about the clues. Ben changed his monologue into a couple's public quarreling show. Abigail seized his intention. They successfully irritated the guards, managed to be taken into the security room. When the guards left, Riley led their way into the elevator to the Queen's office. There, they succeeded figuring out the puzzle of the drawer, and found a wooden plank hidden in the side of the desk. However, Mitch chased them right afterwards. During the chase, Ben overpassed a red light, to take a photograph of the plank with the security camera. And asked Riley to extract the photo from the police server, then threw the plank into the river. Back in America, they found that the plank was written in ancient language. Patrick reluctantly asked his ex-wife, archaeolexicologist Dr. Emily Appleton, for help. She claimed the carvings referenced the center of the earth, but pointed out that some of the glyphs are partial. They needed the second plank at the White House. Ben and Abigail convinced her new boyfriend Connor, a White House curator, to let them see the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. Inside the office, Abigail claimed that she had just lost her earring, while Ben sneaked under the desk and discovered that the second plank has been replaced by a presidential stamp, which Riley identified as the symbol for a secret shared diary, written by presidents and containing controversial topics such as Watergate, Area 51, and the JFK assassination. Only the president had the right to read it. In order to restore the innocence of his ancestor, Ben decided to kidnap the president. On the day of the president's birthday banquet, Ben disguised as a guest and approached him. He knew that the president admires George Washington, and he took out a map by George and introduced that there was a hidden underground tunnel inside the manor which attracted the president's interest. The curious president was eager to know whether the tunnel still exists. He went with Ben to explore and dismissed his guards in the tunnel. Ben guided the president into the secret tunnel step by step and smoothly opened the door. When the president entered, he immediately shut it and directly explained his intention and hoped that the president could offer him assist. He stated that if he finds the Golden City, he would attribute all the treasures to the country, so that the president would be memorized in history. The president sympathetically warned Ben that his actions, while innocently meant, will be interpreted as attempted kidnapping. But he then revealed the book was hidden in the Library of Congress. Before leaving, he also reminded Ben to look at page 47 for him. After that, Ben and his team went to the Library of Congress to find the secret book. Pursued by the FBI, Ben, Abigail, and Riley managed a brief look at the book. They found a photograph of the missing plank, and an entry by Calvin Coolidge. Ben sent the photo to Patrick. But Mitch also received this important piece of intel and kidnapped Emily. In this case, Emily hinted and messaged to Patrick so that they shall later find her. The next day, Mitch reached Mount Rushmore, but to find Ben had been waiting for him. Ben promised that he only needed to find the Golden City to prove the innocence of his ancestors, and Mitch could own all the treasures. However, Mitch had to participate alone. His subordinates must stay. Mitch thought for a moment and agreed to Ben's request. They climbed over the mountains and came to the entrance indicated in the letter. According to the letter, the entrance can only appear under the clear sky and heavy rain. They poured water on the stone and soon found a symbol of eagle. Ben extended his hand slowly into the hole and touched a switch which triggered the stones on the opposite side immediately rolling down, showing an entrance. However, upon entering, Riley snapped an old rope causing the entrance sealed. They had to move forward. Trouble didn't come alone, the team was soon separated by a trap. The trap was square in all directions. The four had to stand on each corner to keep the trap balanced. They also saw a ladder leading upwards. With an intense teamwork, helping Mitch come up first, and Ben at last, they finally made their way out of the trap. After that, the team continued their exploration and found a hall. Ben lit the oil lamp beside him. The scenarios around him were waterfalls without an exit. Following the flowing water, he rolled the wheel in the center which stopped the water and which revealed a passage downwards. The team followed the tunnel, and finally discovered the City of Gold. Patrick and Emily also made their way down here. Seeing the glittering gold city, Mitch eventually admitted that he was defiling Ben's ancestors just to find this golden city. As they were celebrating, the dam suddenly collapsed, making the water kept flooding in. They entered the drainage along the current. But someone had to stay to hold the door and let others escape. Mitch was naturally unwilling. He threatened Abigail's life to have Ben stayed. Ben had no choice. Then they turned the wheel, but just as Mitch was leaving first, the flood gushed others out and a falling stone broke the wheel, bouncing Ben to the door. Mitch was also trapped at the wheel. He knew that once he opened the door again, the current would gush Ben out, but if he put it down, no one would survive. At his last moment, Mitch shouted to Ben to tell the world that he had found the Golden City. And then he pushed the wheel with his last breath, sending Ben out. With Mitch's sacrifice, Ben and the rest returned to the surface. They were later greeted by the president, who cleared Ben's charges, and granted everyone supreme honor. Ben also kept his promise, crediting Mitch for the joint discovery. After that, alone with Ben, the president asked him about the page 47 of the secret book. The National Treasure Trilogy ends here. It has been said that the third National Treasure movie will be released in 2024, but, well, who knows? So far, if you do enjoy watching the Trilogy recap, feel free to leave a like and consider to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Abyssal signing out.